Good morning. Today's scripture reading will be from John 20, verses 30 and 31. Therefore, many other signs Jesus also performed in the presence of the disciples, which are not written in this book. But these have been written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that believing you may have life in his name.
AIM Chapel's going to look a little different today, this morning. My name is Bryant. This is Cruz to my right. We're going to be introing the miracles of Jesus through the Gospel of John. Most of you know that starts with the wedding in Cana and Jesus' first miracle, water into wine. I want to ask you guys a question this morning. What is something old in your life that needs to be made new? Not necessarily detrimental, but something that hinders your relationship with Jesus. Maybe it's a habit, a relationship, a distraction. What is old and needs to be made new? The purpose of this lesson is for us to learn how to be soft and willing so that we can be transformed and purified.
As a kid, I loved Transformers. The robots and the cars, they're just the best combination ever. Now that I'm here and I'm being surrounded by God's word, Jesus makes me into a transformer from my old self to the new one. Today we're going to be in John 2. We're going to be reading through verses 1 through 11, if you want to start turning there. Now this story you've probably heard a dozen times, 100 times. More times than I can remember I've heard this. But right now we're going to look more into depth at what's going on here, the events of what's happening, the process of what's going on, and the people who are acting. Oh, my. And for that, I just want to take a deeper look into this. Now we're going to be reading there in John 2, starting verse 1. On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there. And Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Dear woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied. "My time has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. And he told them, "Now draw some out and take it out to the master of the banquet." And they did so. And the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine, and he did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. And he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and when the cheaper wine, and then cheaper wine after the guests had drank too much. But you have saved the best till now." This is the first of his miraculous signs Jesus performed at Cana in Galilee, and thus revealed his glory, and his disciples put their faith in him. This is a very interesting way for Jesus to show his power. For the first miracle, he does it at a wedding, a very large celebration with all of these people gathered together who are there to witness this coming together of two people. And their weddings are a little bit different from ours. Excuse me. Their weddings last about a week in length. A week of feasting with lots of food, lots of wine, and just a lot of coming together and celebrating this new married couple. And with a lot of this, you have a lot of cultural stuff that goes into this, of the Jews and what they see when they read this. When they see this big ceremony coming together, and a lot of logistics that goes into this. We think our weddings are crazy right now, but imagine every day for a week having to feed all these people, having to make sure they're all entertained with drink. That's a long time. And with the married couple running out of wine in the middle, we could almost guess that they're of a poor family because they did not have enough of the wine provided. And so it just brings another idea to this table. And also that Jesus was there. Him and his disciples were invited in. And some people think that he was invited in as a rabbi to bless this wedding, to give God's blessing over this newly married couple. And being that he wasn't a legal rabbi or the most famous at the time, it's again emphasizing that these are a poor couple who just needed someone to be there to bless them. But this time's not just about the rules and regulations of this wedding. It's about people as well.
I love that research by Cruz. I had never thought about the fact that Jesus may have been invited because of his status as a rabbi. And one thing we notice, that at least I think and I notice, is he seems so unbothered by everybody in the wedding. He's invited, but almost not a part of the wedding. And it's not until his mother asks him that he really gets involved. And even then, he's like, it's not my time. I don't want to do this. But yet, what did his mother say? I know you can. She commissions the servants, do what he says. I think about a look that my mom used to give me. She knew me so well, but something would happen. I was always a mischievous kid. I loved to goof around, and something would happen, and my mom would give me this look. It was always a one eyebrow raise, and there was like a depth in her eyes that was like, don't you dare do it. Don't you dare say it. Sometimes I would. We won't go into that. I love how Jesus' mother knew Jesus. This was his first miracle, remember. He hadn't done anything before. She knew him. Jesus knows you. He seems unbothered until what happens. Yes, his mother asks him, but his mother brings other people into the situation. Is the miracle for the wedding, or is the miracle for the people, for the servants? I love that Jesus wants to use the servants. His miracles, from the very beginning to the very end, uses people and commissions people to bless other people. That's the purpose of this miracle. It's the power of this miracle. Unbothered until it comes to people. God can work through you if you just listen, serve, and obey.
And as we see these servants being given by Mary, they were told, do what he does. Do what he tells you to do. Be what he needs you to be. These servants are to go to him and to do what he tells them to do. They're not there to do anything with the water, with the transformation between the water to the wine. They're there to observe, to witness, to see what is going on in this time where he's doing this miracle. We're supposed to be like them. We're supposed to be witnesses to Jesus' wondrous power. Not just power in the Bible that we see, of all the great, marvelous things he's done, but also power in our own lives that we've seen transform our hearts, that we've seen transform other people around us, of the magnificence he has around the entire world. We can see it, we can witness it, and we need to proclaim it to the world. This miracle was given to them in private, away from everyone else. And their responsibility and their mission was to go and show it to the bridegroom and to the rest of the wedding, to give this blessing he had given to the rest of the world. That is our job. We are given all of this knowledge and all of this responsibilities, and we're supposed to go out and show it to the world and be and give our knowledge that we've obtained to them. And this is the greatest servant act we can do, to soften our hearts, to be molded and transformed by what he does.
There were 6 stone water pots set there for the Jewish custom of purification. What this looked like, the stone water pots were there. They were big water pots. And into the entrance of the wedding, what you would do is these water pots were filled with water, imagine that, and you would go and you would wash your feet and you would wash your hands. You would take what you had brought with you. You would take your grime and your dust and your filth, and you would leave it into the stone water pots so that you could be admitted into the party. It's not something you want to drink out of. That's something I want to drink out of. But hear the significance of that. This was your transformation. This was your purification. This was your admittance into the feast and into the party. And what does Jesus do? He transforms this water, this cleansing, into wine. The party continues because of this. We all know that wine represents Jesus' blood. And what does Jesus' blood do for us? Can't you bring all of your grime and all of your dirt and all of your dust and the baggage and the burdens of the travels that you've had and lay them, just lay them into the water pot that's filled with Jesus' blood to cleanse you, to purify you, to transform you so that you can have an admittance into the party and into the majesty of God's feast.
The amount of wine that Jesus creates for them is enormous. These pots themselves, they held about 20 to 30 gallons of content each. That means almost, or around, over 180 gallons worth of wine. That's a lot of wine for a week. If they can go through that, I'm very impressed by their livers. But with all this, we see he's a provider. He provides everything we need. He gives what we need and more. He gave them this wine for the wedding, and it wasn't just better than the other wine, but it was so much more. They had more for the continuing week and whenever after. And with this wine, we see just an example of his blessings come out. When he gives us blessings, he showers us with blessings. When we are blessed by him, not only are we blessed, but the people around us are blessed. These blessings go out around us. Other times in the Bible where he does this, it's immense. You see Peter's boat being sunk because of all the fish that are coming in, of them bringing up nets. Their nets are breaking, their boats are sinking, and Simon's calling for help, trying to get anybody to come and try to get all the blessings he's giving them. Later on, we see him feeding the 5,000. He has all these people, the thousands of people out there who are hungry and who need food, and all he has is a fish and a few loaves. But he has his blessings are so much that these few turn to many, and it's more than they need. They came out with 12 extra baskets of food, 12 just extra food, 12 amounts of food that they get. And the greatest thing he ever did with his blessings was dying on the cross. He died, and it gave us freedom. His blood covers everything. No matter how much we sin, how much we turn away, rebel, we go against him, his blood covers us. No matter how much of a sinner we were or we are, and we will be, it covers us all, and it won't ever go away. It doesn't run dry. Jesus' blood covers so much that we can't do something that he won't forgive. As an AIM student, I witnessed his way of providing very well. When I came to AIM originally, I had very little nice clothes. I had a little closet full of maybe one button-up, I think. And so we went with a few Aimers, and we went from Goodwill to Goodwill. And I have an overflow of blessings of suits and coats and ties where I can actually have different outfits for every day. But his blessings provide so much for us and covers so much that we are given more than we need. We're given more than we could ever think we needed.
Every man serves the good wine first. And when the people have drunk freely, then he serves the poorer wine. But you have kept the good wine until now. The head waiter never knew who did the miracle. Sometimes you don't know what Jesus is doing. But what he does notice is a flip in culture, a flip in the norm. And when Jesus does a miracle, doesn't he turn an upside down world right side up? This was bizarre. The wedding's in the middle, and now you're going to bring out the good wine. No one ever does this. What does Jesus do? No one else ever does. Isn't it everything? He did it for the people in wedding, but what can he do in your life? What can he turn that's upside down, right side up? I remember in my life, accountability was the way, that God got a hold of my heart. I was in the culture and I was doing whatever I wanted to do, and it was through accountability and it was through intentional discipleship that God turned a very upside down me right side up. There's a lot of work on my part yet still. But Jesus has that power. But not only does he flip culture upside down, or an upside down culture right side up, but he does it with excellence. Notice that it's the good wine. This is mind-blowing. So not only does he switch the culture, not only does he flip it, but doesn't he do it with excellence? And that means, what can he do in your life? What is old that needs to be flipped, made new, and made new with excellence? Not only so that your culture changes, but the culture around you changes. Didn't the servants go out and spread the wine and feed it to the people? What does Jesus tell Peter? Feed my sheep, tend my lambs. Now that our culture, our lives are flipped, and flipped with excellence, because I know each one of you has a story of the way Jesus worked in your life. How can we go and flip somebody else's culture through the power of Jesus that's in us?
Now, I have a challenge for you guys. I want you guys to think of something in your life that is not Christ-like, something that you want Jesus to transform. I want you to think about it for just a second to gather it. And once you have it, I want you to write it down on either a piece of paper, on your notes on your phone, just somewhere where you can keep it with you. And with this, when you get home, I want you to put it up somewhere that you'll see it every day. On your mirror in your bathroom, on the front door before you leave, or if you're an aimer, probably your microwave, because you look at that quite a bit. But with that, every time you look at it, every time you see it, I want you to take whatever it is to soften your heart and to let Jesus change you, to transform you, to make you into something new that is more like him and less like us.